This video popped up on my Twitter feed. This is amazing. I'm actually not even sure when it's from. I have a hunch based on what he says, okay, that this is from right after that debate when Bernie had won basically the first three contests. Then we had a debate. And do you guys remember how vicious everybody was against Bernie, basically calling him like, you know, a dictator, Castro puppet and sympathizer, and they were hitting him with everything under the sun, how extreme he is and all this stuff. And I think this is when Bill O'Reilly went on his web show now and made this point. Now, it really is incredible, isn't it? As soon as you get rid of those corporate constraints and people start giving their real opinions, he actually sort of nails the dynamic of the 2020 Democratic primary. Watch this.
So, you know, if you watch me, that I have told you the journalism industry in print and television is now top-down corporate. The corporations control it. Okay? The corporations do not want Bernie Sanders to win. It's obvious. Okay? Because Bernie Sanders is going to go in and quadruple taxation on all American corporations. And he's going to go in and he's going to just take a sledgehammer to the corporate structure in this country. We're talking Comcast. We're talking AT&T. We're talking Fox. We're talking CBS. We're talking Disney, ABC. They don't want Bernie Sanders. All right? The chieftains, the board of directors, want him. So, very subtly, that message goes out to the news managers. All right? Now, they'll deny it, but I know it's true. I worked in the business for 45 years. I saw it firsthand. Very subtly, the message goes out. Not so much Bernie. You see it tomorrow. It's going to start tomorrow. Biden's going to, the resurgent Joe. Joe is resurgent. How did that happen? How did Joe do it? Joe didn't do it.
I'll be damned if that's not spot on. You had relentless propaganda after that debate where they all went for Bernie's jugular, where everybody was saying, Joe Biden, oh my God, he's surging back. What an amazing showing. And then after South Carolina, forget it. They put the propaganda into overdrive and made it seem like, well, obviously Joe is the only one who could beat Donald Trump, and obviously this is a comeback, and obviously this thing is over, and obviously Bernie peaked too early, and they were writing Bernie's political obituary from the beginning. But they really went into propaganda overdrive right at the right time to influence the race and have a maximum effect. So, look at his points. He says, the news is corporate. The corporations do not want Bernie because he'll raise their taxes. I'll add to what Bill said there. Not only will he do that, he will also limit corporate control over Washington, D.C. by doing something to fight the corruption and the money in politics. And how beholden Congress is to the corporations, to the big money donors. And he says, since that's the case, since you have these corporations and they don't want Bernie, it's subtle, but the word comes out. The word comes out from the higher-ups, from management at these companies. No Bernie. And everybody who's hired and who's a prominent voice in the main networks reflects the ideology of the network. In the case of Fox News, the ideology is pro-Republican, pro-Trump. In the case of CNN and MSNBC, it's generally pro-Democratic establishment. So it's more of like Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the Clintons. Like, that's the ideology. And that clearly is not Bernie Sanders' social democratic ideology. And sometimes it even goes a little further than that. Sometimes it's overt. Remember the story that Ed Schultz told about how he had planned his entire show was going to be about Bernie launching his campaign in 2016, and they were going to do this whole big thing, and he got a call from the head of MSNBC right before he was going to go on air saying, you're not doing this. You're not covering Bernie Sanders' launch. Bernie Sanders, a U.S. senator for so long, a prominent American political figure for so long. But since he has outsider ideas, since he would question corporate power, they tried to stop a news host from covering Bernie's launch of his campaign. Woke Bill O'Reilly. This is Bill O'Reilly going full, oh, I'm not on Fox News anymore? All right, I can afford to tell the truth about a couple things here. Bernie bro Bill O'Reilly. That's what we just saw there. It really is kind of crazy, isn't it? The second that you get a lot of these people off corporate news, they're like, anyways, let me tell you about how all this is bullshit, and let me tell you about what's really going on behind the scenes and where all the pressures lie. By the way, a lot of the steering of the discourse just happens in the hiring process, too. There's a reason why Wolf Blitzer got 1,000 hours a day on air at CNN, because he's never going to rock the boat. He's always going to represent the establishment point of view without thinking about it. You don't have to control him because he's already hired, because that's how he is already. Remember when he was talking to Rand Paul? Rand Paul said, we should stop arming Saudi Arabia because they're committing a genocide in Yemen. And Wolf Blitzer's response was something along the lines of, well, what about the jobs for the defense contractors? Networks want people like that because they will never, ever, ever threaten business interests, threaten corporate power and hierarchy, really rock the boat to try to bring about real change. Never. So you get all these robots, all these unthoughtful people, like a Wolf Blitzer. So anyway, there you have it. The strangest clip maybe ever. Bill O'Reilly randomly becoming a Bernie bro and telling the truth.